Welcome to Daily Papers, the podcast where we dive into fascinating new research and break it down for you. Today, we're tackling a huge question, one that's on everyone's mind. Can an AI system actually be creative?
It feels like we see AI creating art, music, and poetry everywhere. So the simple answer seems to be yes, of course. But today's paper, Can an AI System Be Creative, from Magrin-Chagnolleau, gives a much more nuanced and fascinating answer.
What's cool is the author's background. He's trained as an electrical engineer who worked on AI and machine learning, but he's also an actor, a film director, a writer, and a composer. So he's coming at this from both the technical and the artistic side.
Exactly. And he argues that to answer the question, we first need a solid definition of creativity. He borrows a framework from a cognitive scientist named Margaret Bowden, who says any truly creative act has three key properties.
Okay, what are they?
First is novelty. The creative thing has to be new, not just a rehash of something that already exists. Second is surprise. It should be unexpected. It shouldn't be something you could have easily predicted.
That makes sense. A perfectly painted portrait is skillful, but a portrait where the face is made of fruit, like in an Arcimboldo painting, is surprising. What's the third property?
The third one is value. The new, surprising thing must also be valuable in some way. It could be beautiful, insightful, or useful. And this is crucial. Value isn't a property of the object itself. It requires a person, a subject, to look at it and say, wow, this is good.
So, novelty, surprise, and value. Got it. But how does creativity actually happen?
Bowden breaks that down too into three types of creative processes. The first is the most common, combinatorial creativity. This is about mixing and matching existing ideas in new ways. Think of a chef creating a new fusion dish, like a sushi burrito. The ideas, sushi and burritos, already existed, but the combination is new.
Okay, what's next?
Exploratory creativity is where an artist takes an existing style or set of rules and pushes it to its absolute limit. Think of a jazz musician taking a simple melody and improvising on it, exploring every possible variation they can squeeze out of that musical structure.
And the final type?
That's transformational creativity. This is the rarest and most radical kind. It's not just about pushing the rules, it's about changing the rules of the game entirely. Think about the shift from realistic painting to cubism. Picasso didn't just explore the rules of perspective, he threw them out and invented a new way of seeing.
Okay, so we have a framework. How does AI stack up against these definitions?
Well, this is where it gets interesting. The paper argues that AI is structurally limited. First, it has what the author calls the data-bound problem. AI systems are trained on vast amounts of human-created data. They learn patterns from what already exists. This means they can't create something genuinely, historically new. They're masters of remixing, but they can't invent a new ingredient.
So that takes care of true novelty. What about surprise?
That's the statistical convergence problem. At its core, an AI is a prediction machine. It's always trying to generate the most probable, most likely output based on its training data. It's designed to produce the average, the expected. But true creativity is often the opposite. It's the weird, low probability idea that creates that aha moment of surprise.
And I'm guessing AI has a problem with value, too.
A huge one. An AI can't feel awe. It can't be moved by a poem. It has no subjective experience. So it can't judge whether its own work is beautiful or meaningful. It can only check if it looks statistically similar to things that humans have labeled beautiful in the past.
AI adds one more limitation, which I found really compelling. It's about the role of chance, accidents, and serendipity.
Yes, the author gives these amazing personal examples. In one, he was taking photos of redwood trees and accidentally moved the camera during a long exposure, creating this beautiful, blurry, ethereal image. That accident opened up a whole new artistic series for him.
And AI doesn't have accidents like that. Everything it does is based on its programming and data, and even if it could simulate a random error, it wouldn't have the consciousness to recognize it as a happy accident. It wouldn't know to say, "Whoa, that mistake is actually better than what I was trying to do. I'm going with that."
So let's see how this plays out in practice. The author ran a few experiments. In one, he asked an AI to write 60 haikus. The AI was great at the form. It always got the 5-7-3 syllable structure right. That's combinatorial creativity.
But were they any good?
They were competent, pleasant. But when he asked for its 10 best, most mind-blowing haikus, it just produced more of the same, slightly more abstract, but still average. It had no way of knowing what mind-blowing even means. The result was perfectly average every time.
He also did an experiment where he asked the AI to rewrite a paragraph in the style of famous French authors like Victor Hugo and Proust.
And again, the AI was a brilliant mimic. The Victor Hugo version was full of grand, sweeping statements and exclamation points because that's the most statistically recognizable feature of Hugo's style. But it was a caricature. It captured the surface, but not the soul or the surprising depth of the real author.
So is AI just useless for creative work then?
Not at all. This is the most hopeful part of the paper. AI can be an incredible collaborator. In one experiment, a composer was asked to write music for a silent film, but he wasn't allowed to see the film. Instead, an algorithm just gave him a line graph showing the film's brightness over time.
That's a bizarre constraint.
Totally. But that constraint forced the composer to think in a completely new way. The AI didn't write the music, but it acted as a productive constraint that sparked human creativity.
The paper's final experiment on image generation calls this process creative co-evolution. What does that mean?
It describes a back-and-forth dialogue. The human starts with an idea and gives the AI a prompt. The AI generates an image. But that image might have an unexpected detail or spark a totally new idea in the human's mind. So the human changes their original intention and refines the prompt. The creativity happens in the loop between them.
And the author makes a key point. In that loop, the human learns and grows. Their creative vision evolves. The AI learns nothing. It just waits for the next prompt.
Exactly. So, to go back to our original question, can an AI be creative? The paper's answer is a graduated no. It has genuine skills in combinatorial creativity, mixing and matching, but it's fundamentally incapable of transformational creativity, of inventing cubism.
Its real power, then, isn't as a standalone creator, but as a tool that can spark new ideas in a human collaborator. It can be a brainstorming partner, a muse, or even a generator of productive accidents. But the human artist is the one who still needs to provide the vision, the judgment, and the meaning. The creativity is in the collaboration, but its home is still with us.